I did need this over here. It's a good thing.
Hi.
We're live. Awesome.
There we go. Hi.
Excellent. Okay, we've got a little glare here going on. Have a little patience for this technical craziness. Okay, I don't know how to get rid of this damn glare. Do you see the glare?
I see the glare.
Someone's got to see the glare. Okay, so welcome to All Astrology. My name is Greer, and I'm gonna
and I'm
try to
Amy.
scoot in a little bit closer here.
And we know we have glare off of our glasses, but there's
awkward
really
as
nothing
hell.
we can do about that.
Oh, maybe if I back up a little bit.
No.
You have your microphone on? Can they hear you?
Yes, I do.
All right, if you can hear us, I'm going to do what everybody else does. Say something in the comment bar so we can see if you're there. Also, I have a stack of charts. There's a nice thick stack of people who submitted their information yesterday before midnight, which was great. We're going to try to get through them all. We promised 5-minute free 5-minute readings for anybody that submitted their chart info. So here at All Astrology, if you're new and if you haven't watched, well, of course, everybody here is new because we are brand new. Like this is our first official live stream show. The other ones, I think we did a couple of videos and then we did like a little live bit this afternoon just to see if we had live capability because that was a whole different thing. So getting back to my point, we are going to try to get to everybody's charts because there's a lot of charts. There's a lot of information. We're going to try to stick to the 5-minute thing. So I want everyone to really pay attention to the birth date, time, and location that we announce because that's how we'll be signifying what chart we're reading. Does everyone understand that? I'm not going to give out your name. There's just a confidentiality privacy thing. So I will read the birth date, time, and place. If it's your chart and if it's your birthday and you were born at that time, you should know it's you we're talking about. Okay? So ready to go? We got to rip right into it.
We got to roll
because we're not going to have enough time.
We have a pile of charts.
We do have a pile of charts. And again, I don't know if I mentioned, but if we don't get to it at the end of this, we're hoping to not have to go any longer than an hour. That's a lot of time to ask out of people on a casual Sunday right before they got to turn into work and stuff.
Especially when we've got
me, so bear
snow
with me.
outside.
Yeah, it's crazy.
April.
It's a nice snowy day. Okay, so the first chart, we're going to go ahead and put this on the clipboard. This is a little awkward. I realize it's going to change a little bit as we progress in our skills as far as video and all that crap. So the first chart we're going to pop up on here. I'm going to announce the birth time and location. And we have, let's see, Friday, July 16th, 1999. And birth time, 5:25 a.m. Do a real quick explanation as to what that means in regards to what it's going to point out on here.
Okay, what this does is we're actually going to be focusing on
you go ahead and talk.
Rising sign. The rising sign is the sign that is on the eastern horizon at the time of your birth. Now, we're not going to be talking about sun signs. Everybody knows their sun sign. That's the day and the month that you were born. We're going to be focusing on the rising sign. That's the constellation that was on the horizon at the time.
On this particular chart, it's Cancer. This is the sign of Cancer.
Now, the sun sign is your soul. That's who you are deep inside of you. That's your soul purpose. That's what you're trying to accomplish within this lifetime. Your rising sign is your external. That's what you present to the world and who you are on the outside of you. And it's what people see of you. And that's really much more of the outer part of you that you present to the world.
We like to think of it as the cover of the book. Mm-hmm. You know, like you can look at a book cover and you feel like it gives you an indication as to what that book is going to be about. But a lot of times it has nothing to do with what's really inside of the book. The sun would be like the meats and the potatoes. It's the context. It's the details. It's just the good shit, you know. The rising sign's good too, you know what I mean? But it is first impressions would typically be the rising sign. So we're going to get right to this chart because we got, like I said, a lot of charts. So I already showed you the physical part, what a chart looks like and what part of the chart we're talking about. So I don't need to hold it up again because as you saw, there's a lot of stuff here. And it's like, holy crap, what is all this, right? And so we're not even going to even bother trying to explore any of that because we're just not there and we don't need to be there. We're going to start at step one, which we wanted to get people to comment on what they wanted to talk about. We didn't get enough comments on that to really pull together what we thought would work. So we're going to begin with ourselves. It makes sense. Everybody wants to hear about themselves. So if you are out there, please, if you heard your birth time, date, and place, if you're listening right now, I know we did have a lot of people who said they would have to watch the replay of this, which is fine. But for whoever this is, if you are listening, please tap in onto the comment bar. Let us know you're here. Actually, for all of us, I see Jayla's here. I can say that because she's tapped in onto the comment bar, which is awesome. She's giving us tips, which I appreciate, Jayla. Thank you very much, because we need that. I need feedback. This is our first time. All righty. So we're going to go to this chart. Again, just to clarify, this was for birth date of July 16th, 1999. And it was birth time 5:25 a.m. And this person is a Cancer rising, which is the same as saying a Cancer ascendant. And as we just described in detail, it's really the cover of the book. It's a first impression person. So a human being has a lot of things that make up who they are, which I showed you on that chart, right? This whole chart is a descriptor of who you are. So what do we want to know about? What does it mean that there's a Cancer rising? Cancer is all about home. All about the home. And it doesn't necessarily mean the physical home. Cancer is really more about an inner emotional home, like where your place of peace inside of you. It's very much your emotional being, because the moon actually is kind of like, they use the word ruler, okay, of each sign. And the moon is the ruler of Cancer. The moon is our emotions. So it's going to be this inner part of us that represents that. For a lot of people, just thinking of their mom is like home. When you look at that in someone's chart, that's going to be significant for them. You could be around a person who's a Cancer, and sometimes they feel really like you're kind of drawn to them in a like a mother-child type way, because they have this quality about them.
Feels like you want to hug them, and they
very
just feel mothering.
They feel
very
natural in a sense.
Compassionate.
Yes.
And very comfortable.
Very comfortable. Yeah. It's like when you think of, you want to eat your favorite home cooked meal that mom made when you were a kid, or, if you're still a kid and you're still at home and mom's making meals for you, you'll know better once you're away from that, because when you get to go back to that, you realize, oh my God, like, that's home to me. Some people, like for my family growing up, every holiday we would have, my mother actually cooked soups all the time, stews and homemade stocks on the stovetop. And to this day, for me, that is home. Like, I can have a cup of broth and it just takes me right back, not necessarily to the physical surroundings, but it just has this really down home feeling to it. I feel really good. So for people who are Cancer risings, typically anything about family is going to be really important to them. They're going to be very protective of family. They're going to go all out there and just do what it takes to have family in their life. Family is going to be a big priority to them. And this is the way it's going to appear outwardly, because you're going to meet that person. You might, you don't really know them till you spend time with them. But on the outward appearance, remember, it's the book cover part where it seems like, wow, they really care about their family. Family is their whole being, man. That's who they are.
Or they're going to feel like very comfortable people. They're going to feel like they're very comfortable in their own skin. They're going to feel like they're very comfortable with who they are, that they're very comfortable where they are in their lives. There's going to be something that's very comforting about who they are and with where they are in their lives. They're not going to feel as if they're uncomfortable with where they are and who they are. So when you come across that person who feels that way, there's a very, very good indication that they're probably a good chance that they have a Cancer rising, or they have a lot of Cancer within their chart.
I just want to mention something, because I just realized I was bouncing up and down. I am on. I thought they must think I'm really insane. I'm on like this, whatever they call this. It's a ball. Anyway,
a yoga ball.
It's supposed to be good for my back, and it's easier to sit on for me. So just so you know, I'm not like just totally insane. It's just, I don't know. I'm on this ball thing. Anyhow, what I do want to mention about this chart, and this is important. This person is Cancer rising. I don't want to get too detailed, but I have to mention it because we're here and we're live, and this is about giving like a 5-minute reading, right? So some people, you know, you don't want to tune in just to hear fluff. You want meat and potatoes. So here's the meat and potatoes of the reading, of this reading. For this individual, don't be worried by the term I'm going to use, but there are eclipses. We're in eclipse season for Cancers and Capricorns. So what that means is there will be significant events that occur in your life this year, and that started in January, okay? And it goes basically till next January, roughly. That's a rough estimate. So there's going to be things in your life, and it's going to mainly have to do with self, because you have Cancer right on the rising sign, right on the ascendant, which is all about me. It's all about self. So there's going to be events that are going to have to do with learning more about who you are. And because it's in Cancer, they're probably going to have to do with learning more about who you are pertaining to family. That's going to be in that scope. And whatever in your mind, in your heart, you consider family. So it doesn't have to be a direct correlation to your blood sister or blood brother type of thing. It really comes down to what you consider family. Okay?
And that could be your closest friends.
Sure can.
So if you have certain friends of yours that you've had for the greater part of your life, it could mean that it's going to affect that small group of people that you're very, very close to, that feel as much like family as your own family, if not feel more like family than your own blood family.
All right, we're going on to the next chart. Flip that one over. We did mix these up ahead of time, just in case I didn't say anything about that. I know I wanted to make sure. Okay, next chart. The birth date is April 27th, 1969. Oh, all righty.
Well, how about that?
10:50 a.m. Are you listening out there? So April 27th, 1969, 10:50 a.m. And that is in Chicago, Illinois. Did I give the birthplace on that last chart? Did I say Chicago? Did I say
well,
the
it was
birth
in
city and
Chicago,
state?
Illinois, but I'm
okay,
sure
I'm sorry if
we have the time, so I'm sure if you know your birth date and time, you'll
Oh
know.
man, I feel like a fool. Anyway, see, we're all rookies at this at some stage, you know. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this up again. It's another Cancer rising.
Wow.
Okay, so this kind of sucks because we're gonna be talking about the same thing. But just so you can
It's a
see,
very different person.
it is a different person, but unfortunately, we're
very
talking
different chart.
It is, but unfortunately, see, this is kind of a good example. It is a very different chart. However, for the sake of this video, we're really only, I don't know, is this blurry? Can y'all click in here? Like, is this blurry? Can you see that? Like, that's the Cancer. It looks blurry from where I'm looking at. Like, it just looks blurry. Maybe it doesn't matter. But anyway, this is Cancer rising, Cancer ascendant. You see that little green thing there? This is to not confuse you, but this is referring back to what I talked about in that other chart, which is, oh
Your
my
ball
God,
went rolling.
My chair just rolled away. Oh, and I'm hooked up. Holy crap. Okay, so I'll finish this out and then I'll have to run over there. As soon as I'm done with my little spiel, you can start off on yours.
Okay.
So that little thing there represents the moon's nodes. And that pertains to the eclipse that I referred to in the other chart. Okay. And well, that kind of just gives proof that that's where these things happen. It all has to do with the moon's nodes. Don't worry about the moon's nodes. Just pretend like I didn't even say that. I'm not trying to add confusion. What I'm trying to further explain was what I started in the other chart, which was that there are going to be events that occur this year, and it's going to have to do with yourself and family. Again, that could have to do with, like we said, family can be anybody. It doesn't have to be blood relatives. Family is whoever we hold near and dear to us, whoever we consider they're in our bucket family. You know, they're there.
Mhm.
That's our bucket. And these are the people who are my near and dear, and they are my family.
They can be the people that are living with us at
Right.
the time. They can be the people that we've known the longest. They can be anybody, any group of people that are the closest to us. So just as a really quick example, I'm not real close with my two older brothers, but Greer and I live in the same house. And I consider her like a sister to me because we are very, very close and we do live together. So I consider her family. So whatever is happening in my life affects her and whatever's happening in her life affects me, and we are like family.
And poor Steve. Her husband,
husband.
he's gonna like live with the both of us. Poor guy.
So this person whose chart that we're looking at, who is also a Cancer rising, is going to have very different experiences than the previous Cancer rising that we have because of other things that are in the chart.
I want to do something real quick that'll help further your point. Can you pull that chart back in?
Yep.
Because we can maybe do a side-by-side quick comparison. And I wanted to mention it before. Oh, let's turn it upside down or right side up. The first chart that we looked at.
Side up. Yeah.
Okay, the first chart that we looked at, she's a Cancer rising. I'm sorry for it being blurry, but if you look closely, there's this little round thing with like a dot in the middle of it. That is the sun. So in this person's chart, they have their sun is actually on their ascendant as well. So they have their rising sign and their sun there. So they're
right
basically
next to each other.
They're basically a double Cancer in that regards because their sun is a Cancer and their risings. She's holding onto my chair. Oh, I thought you were holding onto my chair.
The rug is doing that.
So she will definitely be very different because all the things that we mentioned about a Cancer were ringing really true for this individual because she's also a Cancer sun. This individual is strictly a Cancer rising. She's just a Cancer rising. This particular person's sun is actually over here. It's not even here. It's all the way over here, and it's in Taurus. We can't get into that right now. We will get into sun signs, but we're dealing with the cover of our book, the cover of who we are, our outward appearance. So again, another individual where family is extremely important to them. I'm sorry, I know I'm not in the camera. Family's really going to just be so important. They're going to want to have family around them. It's kind of actually a little unfair. I actually know who this person is because I know them personally. So I really prefer looking at charts of people I don't know. Then it's like, okay, I don't know anything about them. But this chart is who this person is. And it had nothing to do with this person knowing anything about their chart. Now, any questions? I don't see any questions on the chat as far as that chart. All right. So we can move on to the next one. You do that. And I have to go find my chair again. It ran away.
No, it's right behind you.
Oh, sweet. All right. Okay. Next one up.
Okay, here we go. Okay, this next one we have, let me read. The birth date is November 13, 1982 at 1:18 a.m. in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And what we have is a Virgo rising.
Yep.
A Virgo rising.
Virgo rising.
Okay.
Wow. Let me start off on the Virgos because this is a Virgo. They're the queens of practicality. They're the queens of analyzing, and which is really cool. They're not afraid to think things through. They're not afraid to look at the details of things, which is really quite awesome, especially because there's a practical part about them that's going to be present. And in that, they're going to have an ability, especially within the home, to be efficient in a way where it's not about taking shortcuts so much, but thinking it through ahead of time and saying, we can do that this way. And it's going to be practical. What does that mean? It means we can utilize the things that are around us. We don't got to run to the store and buy something. We can make do with what we have. I kind of see them as like the MacGyvers. They're really good with that. Depending upon other things in their chart, depending upon the other placements of things, that's going to differ a little bit. And the Virgos, they're known to, like I said, to really be able to think things through and to analyze. Virgos also have to do with our health. So everybody has the sign of Virgo somewhere in their chart, and health is an issue. It doesn't mean it's an issue to the degree where it means poor health or it means excellent health. It's just in this particular area, this is health. So Virgos are known to be healers because they're connected, that quality of the body and the knowledge, they have it. And so they just have this natural healing ability about them. Again, that's going to differ slightly from Virgo to Virgo because of the other signs.
The difficulty for a Virgo rising is that we do have a tendency to have physical illnesses within our physical outward being that oftentimes are not always things that other people can see. And so for us, other people will look at us and go, well, you look fine, or you look great. But on the inside, we're not always feeling so great. Sometimes on the inside, we're kind of falling apart. And so for Virgo rising people, this can sometimes be a challenge because we look okay, but we don't always feel okay. And so this is something that as a Virgo rising person that I have personal experience with. And it is a challenge that Virgo rising people do have. And because of the setup in the chart that happens with Virgo rising people, this is a common problem. So if you come across people who do have a Virgo rising, please be considerate of this fact because we do deal with this on a day in and day out basis. We do have a tendency to have degenerative disease problems.
You know, that's a good point about Virgos too, because I was looking, I'm always looking at astrology stuff, and somebody else's information had just this little clip, and it said, our careers, not necessarily our career, but our day-to-day, almost like our, it didn't even say profession, but it was just like our job, basically, your day-to-day mundane job type of thing, which could be just the things and the events like that you do on an everyday basis, like in your house. Like every day you get up and you go into the bathroom and you take a shower, you brush your teeth. Virgos, oh yeah, they're going to have the toothbrush and the toothpaste in the correct spot, right? So there's a place for everything, and a thing for every place type of thing. But what did they say? You want to piss off a Virgo, you move something in the house, right? They want everything to be
Don't put
in
the
order.
scissors back in the right drawer and you will tick them off.
Right. They want everything to be in order. So there's an organizational aspect about Virgos as well, which is
Absolutely.
excellent, especially if it's for the home. We're going to move on.
Yep.
Go to the next chart. We have lots of charts. And again, if you have questions, pop them into the comment bar.
We'd love to hear from you.
If you're getting some value in this, I appreciate you tap on the bell there. That's what it's for. And we're going to move right along. Next one is June 16th, 1997. And birth time is 5:17 p.m. And this is, again, Chicago, Illinois. And this is what that looks like.
And we have a Scorpio rising.
Right. We have a Scorpio rising. Okay. I wish I could figure out how to make this look better. But anyway, Scorpio rising. Okay. So this person on the outside, again, it's the book cover. They're going to have, they're going to be very passionate individual, actually.
Yeah.
They're going to be very passionate. They're going to have an outward appearance of drive and this almost a fight mentality, maybe at times. They could definitely have that.
Come across that way.
They're also, I call them the detectives of astrology. That's what I call them, because they have such a high level. They're kind of like, they got this curiosity thing like cats have. They are just super curious. Some people would call it nosy, but they're curious. They're very curious, and so they tend to dig. They're great researchers.
They are. They love
like
to
dig
learn
for information.
They love to learn. Scorpios are always the ones that you can depend on. If you're involved in trying to research something, they're the ones that are going to be on the internet digging for information. They're the ones that you can depend on to really read a book from front to back and really learn the information. They're the ones that are going to be, if you're involved in a group project in school, they're the ones that are going to be really learning the information. You can depend on them in that kind of a situation. On the other hand, if you are living with somebody who has a really strong Scorpio ascendant, a Scorpio sun, you got to be a little careful if you don't want them nosing into your stuff.
They want to know everything.
They want to know everything.
She's saying they're super, super inquisitive.
They're very inquisitive. They may be digging into your stuff when you're not home, and you might not want them to do that. There's a positive and a negative to every sign, so you have to be aware of that. Scorpios also can, at times, be really tuned in on the metaphysical level. So
Most definitely.
sometimes
That's a super psychic sign.
they're very
Scorpios
psychic.
are
So
very psychic.
sometimes you can be thinking something and they can actually hear it. And they'll say, "Did you say something to me?" And they'll know what you were thinking. And you'll say, "No, I didn't say anything." And they'll say, "I could have sworn you said such and such." And they'll know what you were thinking. And you're like, "I didn't say that." And they're like, "I could have sworn you said that." "No, I didn't say that." "I could have sworn you did." And you'll be like, "How did that person know that I was
They're just
thinking that?"
psychic. Scorpios
know.
are psychic.
They just know.
They're Scorpios are a water sign. I mean, we didn't really even get into the elements backing each sign. We didn't know how much time we were going to have. We wanted to honor all the charts and the information that we have in front of us. So, but that's another part that we can get into. It's not real complex, actually. It's a nice basic way of approaching astrology that you don't hear many people doing. And it's always confused me because it actually simplified things from my understanding when I did it. But water has to do with the spiritual realm. Water is a great conductor of energy. And anytime water is present, you're going to have a heightened ability in as far as connecting with spirit. And well, Scorpios have this inquisitiveness. So you mix the inquisitiveness and you mix their passion, their urge to want to know more, and their drive. And you have that combination makes a very powerful individual, but also a very powerful individual in being able to connect
to the other
further
realm.
to the other side.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Look at this. We have another
Cancer rising. It's wild. This is the Cancer hour, maybe, huh? So this one is a March 16th, born in 2010. And the birth time is 2:18 p.m. And this is Boca Raton, Florida. All right, so how is this different from the other charts? Sorry that this looks like crap a little bit. Actually, this one doesn't look bad. Okay, so we've got the Cancer rising, and you see the little green spot again, which is the moon's nodes, which the Cancer people have But
look at the difference. Look at everything that is up here.
Yeah, this is a different chart. Yeah, so exactly. We have Cancer risings, but again, this is the book. This is the book
cover.
I'm sorry, the cover of the book. So it tells us, it gives us the outward appearance, right? It's the outward appearance of somebody. But all the other stuff is the inside, is the good stuff. It's the good stuff.
It's the meat and potatoes.
It is the meat and potatoes, right? Or if you're vegan, you know, it's
the beans.
The beans and all
the rice.
Yeah, it's all the it's all the other good stuff. If it was for me, it's all the chocolate. You know, that's the good stuff. Screw the meal, just give me the chocolate.
You don't even eat chocolate.
Anyway, so anyhow. So we're back to Cancer rising again. So what else can we say about Cancer? We have to get a little bit more
Cancer
into this.
is another water sign.
It is excellent. Cancer is another water sign. So you have another. Now, along with being water and being connected to spirit, it gives you a great ability to be very creative. Water signs, great creativity, you know, with them.
Flow. They have a flow to them.
They sure do. And so because it's home, it would be very natural for them to be very creative at home, or things that have to do with the home. One of the shows will actually show charts from people who have who can show these things in an outward way in the world, meaning people you've heard of. So stars, whatever, politicians, whatever they are.
Right.
And we can, you could see how it expressed in their life. You could see.
It would be kind of fun. Like if we looked at the Property Brothers, the one who redecorates homes.
Yeah, right.
He probably has a really
Even though I don't know who that is, but yeah.
Well, for those of you who watch HGTV, if you know who the Property Brothers are, Jonathan Silver, he redoes the houses, and he probably has, if we were to look at his birth chart, has a really, really strong Cancer aspect. And I would not be at all surprised. We could probably pull up his chart and find that in his chart, because he guts houses and he redecorates them, and he does a beautiful job.
So he does a lot to do with the home, and he's doing it in a very physical way.
Right.
And it can be that. It can be that. It has a lot to do with, like, he may not be a Cancer rising. He could be a Cancer sun. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He could be a Cancer moon. It's those 3 signs, your rising sign, your sun, and your moon, that are really, really shape and mold. Like, they're really the 3 main ingredients of who you are, actually. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, but those 3 things, if you can, that's our goal in the beginning of all this, is to cover basically those 3 signs, because you'll have a really good understanding of your own chart. And the more you hear us talking about these things and giving you everyday typical examples and how it expresses, what it looks like, how it sounds, it'll just make sense. So when you have somebody who's got Cancer rising as well, you know, when it comes to home, I don't know, could they be somebody who's a Martha Stewart?
Could be.
Do you know what I'm saying? I haven't actually looked at Martha's chart. I've looked at a lot of people's chart. I've never looked at her chart, and that would probably be a good chart to look at.
That would be somebody to look at.
Yeah, that would be somebody to look at. What else can we say about Cancer? Because they're going to be very sensitive people. I don't think I said this before, and I need to say it because we're talking, this is like the 3rd chart. They're going to be extremely sensitive people.
Yes.
And that goes a couple ways. They're going to be sensitive as far as their bodies being touched. They're going to be, I know Cancers where they don't want to be touched. I also know some Cancers where like, I think part of Taffy, she might even have, there's 2 cats here. There's Taffy and Zoe. And yeah, we do pet astrology, which is fascinating. But Taffy, I think a part of her has a strong Cancer component, because she likes, even though she doesn't want you to necessarily pick her up and hold her, she likes to snuggle up next to you. Like, I'll be on the floor because I have to do my whole horizontal thing, and she'll crawl right up and lay right up against my body so that, like, she can feel my body heat. And maybe that's what she's looking for, the body heat. But she likes to lay right up against me. And if I touch her, it's got to be just
really gentle,
super light. Like, I'm barely touching her. You know, like when you do that game in your kids, the 2-finger thing where you're not really touching. It's supposedly your vibes that are lifting the body. I forget what that's called. It's from a long time ago. Anyway, so Cancers are really sensitive in a physical way. Cancers are also sensitive in an emotional way. Emotions. It's all about emotional satisfaction with the Cancer. Okay. I'm glad we had more Cancer charts. We were so worried about not having enough time, because I don't want to go past an hour for your guys' sake, that I just, you know, we started going real fast. And that's okay, because I wanted to get everyone covered. I didn't want to, you know, not be able to accomplish what we set out to do. But Cancers are there's an emotional level sensitivity there that they may not be aware of, or they're aware of, and they might not want to share that, because that's our most vulnerable part of who we are. That's
one
hard.
Cancer that I knew was very much always wanting to be touched, always wanted to be right next to me. And was
wonder
always,
what their moon sign was. Probably Scorpio or something, or Taurus.
Could have been.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it changes. It manifests in different ways. So, and was very emotionally sensitive. If you said the wrong thing.
Which brings up a point, and again, I'm just going to mention it because we're still on Cancers. And Cancers, because of the emotional sensitivity, you have to, you know, it's not walk around them on eggshells, but it's just understand that what you experienced, they're going to experience on an emotional level differently. It would likely be something they would really take to heart, even though I know we all do about certain areas in our chart, but it's just to recognize and be aware, especially if it's someone you're close to. If it's your partner, you know, especially if it's a boss at work, oh my God, watch out. Like, just be aware that the moon rules that sign. So for Cancers, the phases of the moon and the moon changing, it would be really
going to affect them.
Yeah. And it would be fascinating to pay attention to that if you knew all that stuff about somebody, to see how their moods might change. And I'm not labeling them as moody. So I don't want anyone to think I'm saying that. No, I really don't, because we all have the moon in our chart. And I know when that moon moves, oh my God, I know when the moon is moving. Like, I can very much feel the moon's movement, as far as I'm aware of how it affects my thinking. You know what I'm saying? Whether I'm feeling all get up and go-y, or like, oh God, I don't want to be bothered today.
She can tell where the moon is based on how angry I am. So
this is all nothing more than self-awareness and being aware of others in our lives. And that's what a chart is. It's how I relate to myself, and others and the greater world around me. That's all astrology is. And once you learn to understand that, and you start looking at it a little bit more objectively. Moving along. Next
look
chart.
at this.
You can say
we've got
the birth time and all that. I'm getting a swing.
You're getting
on.
parched?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got April 21st, 1994 at 9:45 p.m. in Lublin, Poland.
Sue. All right.
Woo.
Poland. That's awesome.
We have a Scorpio rising.
Yeah, another water sign. This is a lesson? This is a practical lesson in astrology right here.
We have a lot of
our
water
show,
signs.
and it's all water signs that are showing up, right?
Predominantly.
That have submitted information, because a water sign is a spiritual sign. Now, that's not to take anything away spiritually from other signs. So this individual, right? Scorpio, right? It's like that big M with the hook on the end that's pointing up the arrow. It's their rising, okay? So that's who this is. She also has a lot of other things going on her rising sign. This is a very potent individual who will be a force to be reckoned with. Anytime there are planets on a point, so to speak, it just amplifies the energy of that area of the chart. Mm-hmm. This doesn't mean run from these people. It just means, well, first off, you look at this chart. Oh my gosh, this person's got this is her rising sign, but she's also got Jupiter and Pluto there.
2 planets.
Whoa. So this being, if they're not aware of it, I would imagine to say that they're extremely psychic would be a pretty spot on thing. And they might think, it depends. I haven't looked at the rest of their chart, and I can't get into that right now. We have more charts to go through because all those other things make a difference. But just by looking at the rising and the fact that this person has planets there and their north node. Okay, their north node is there as well, which makes this more challenging. So again, I'm not going to go any further, but I'm just going to say this is a person who's going to be very potent and whose ability to connect to the other side is going to be really strong. This person is going to be really psychic. This person might not be aware of it. It might be to the degree where they might think that they might not want to share what they hear, to be honest. It might be to the degree where they doubt it in the sense that, okay, I'm hearing shit and people are going to think I'm nuts, or it could be anything. It could also come out to where another Scorpio, really creative sign. It's a water sign. They're very creative people. I don't think we said that about the last chart, but if you're a Scorpio rising, or Scorpio anything, you have this force about you. You have this passion about you. And when when you mix intent with emotions, okay, water in there is emotions. Anytime you hear water, think emotions. You automatically have this power, this creative force within you. And we all have this somewhere in our chart. And when I say that, it's because the chart is divided into 12 sections. It's a big pie, a big fat slice of French silk pie.
Sure, she brings chocolate into it.
Hell yeah, I bring chocolate into it. So we've got this big pie and it's got 12 slices in it. And some of these slices are smaller than others and some are bigger. So there's a lot of particulars and a lot of variables here, which is why we wanted to do this channel, because there's so much variation that you need to know some things for yourself. Instead of just listening to me, instead of just listening to her, you should know some of these things and whether what we're saying is actually clicking. So and you can judge, and inside it'll resonate whether we know what the hell we're talking about or not, right? And there's going to be all these other factors, which is why I keep bringing that up, because I want you guys to realize all I'm talking about right now is the rising sign. There's a million other things I could talk about in there, but we're only talking about your rising sign. So it's not that there's things being purposely left out. It's just there's a whole lot more to you than one thing. And this is all we're talking about is your outward appearance to people. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Next chart. Let me read the date. December 28th, 1974, 3:13 p.m. in Woodbridge, Virginia.
Okay, we have something very different here. We have
finally a different sign to talk about. But see, what's cool about the fact that all those other signs is we got to go a little bit more in depth, and that's good because there's a lot involved here.
We have a Gemini rising. right here, Gemini. Okay, so Gemini.
Let me take a peek at that. We got a Gemini rising, and not to confuse anybody, and I Greer's going to go ahead and do it because I'm a deep individual. Gemini rising. The AC means ascendant. We already, I think, talked about that. He does have something else on the outside here, and that's the planet Mars. And I'm only mentioning it because it's right next to his ascendant. It's right
now
next to his rising point.
But you're talking about transits, and we're not going to get into transits.
No, we're not going to get into transits. I understand that. I'm just going to say that planet Mars has a lot, is the same energy. It ties into the last stuff. It ties into Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by this planet that I just showed, and that's the planet of passion. Okay? Sure. That's the planet of passion. And this individual has this on their ascendant, has this on their rising sign. Right now.
It's not always there.
No, it's not always there. It's going to be moving. So let's talk about the sign of Gemini in case we went fast, because I know we actually did go kind of fast on that. And maybe no one's taking notes and cares, but I have a problem with being thorough. The Gemini sign, she calls it,
and she easily gets sidetracked.
So the Gemini is like, it's got this thing that almost looks like the Pisces sign, but it's really like the pillars. It represents the twins, supposedly. And I think people say they say that because Geminis are known to have, I don't want to say they have a split personality, but they have parts about them where it's like, oh my God, she just said this thing. And then 10 minutes later, there's almost a contradiction in their words or in their actions.
Well, I don't think of it so much as a contradiction. It's like they can see both sides of the issue equally.
I agree.
And they can say, okay, I see this side of this issue. I see this side of this issue. And so what happens is with people that have strong Gemini tendencies or strong Gemini energy is that it can come across as contradictory.
Right.
Because they can say one thing and it sounds like they firmly believe it.
Because they do.
Because they do. And then they can say the exact opposite and firmly believe it because they do. And so it can be a little disconcerting and a little difficult to sometimes handle because you're like, well, which one is the one that they really believe?
Which is cool about Gemini.
They believe both because they see
both sides.
Valid arguments on both sides of the issue.
Which I think is, like I was saying, I think it's really cool because I think the closer we get to what we think is the truth, it does contain both sides. I don't think it's all this. I don't think it's all just this. You know, I love to think that our whole life and being is just all this. I don't discount genetics. I don't discount culture. I don't discount, you know what I mean? I don't discount any of that. That's all part of it too.
It isn't just nature or just nurture.
Yeah.
It is the combination of the two. And we have to give credence to both sides of that issue. And I think this has always been one of my great arguments is that there is no black, there is no white. In reality, everything is on the grayscale, somewhere in between. And I think that's one of the things that Geminis are very good at doing is saying, well, it's some of this and it's some of this.
Exactly.
Now, and they're good at pointing out both of those extremes.
Right.
And saying,
yeah. And that's my next point about a Gemini. That a Gemini typically, we all have Gemini somewhere in our chart. It's about communication. So it can be about talking. It can be about writing. It's also how I think. So where your Gemini is in your chart, this person that's on their ascendant, they're a thinker. Mm-hmm. That person is going to be a thinker. And right now for him, because Mars is there, or her, whoever that is, because Mars is there, they might notice that their thinking has all of a sudden, there's more thinking going on. There's more activity happening because when Mars passes through, it ups the level. It's like you have a gas tank full of, in your car, it takes whatever kind of gas. And then there's that other special gas you can put in that the people who race put in. What is that crap called? I don't know. It's like this higher gas. Ethanol crap or whatever.
Higher octane.
Yeah, octane. And so it gives a boost. It's like a supercharge all of a sudden. So this person is probably doing more thinking and quite possibly could be doing a lot more talking and communicating in
about
general.
What they're thinking.
Yeah. And it could be, maybe they started writing more. Okay. Geminis typically are all about communication.
Absolutely.
Are definitely quick thinkers too. They're very witty. They can be funny. They can be humorous. Sometimes they're also known as kind of like a jack of all trades, not in the sense like a Virgo is. Well, a Virgo's a MacGyver totally, because MacGyver can pick up crap around the house that someone thinks is garbage and make it useful.
Yeah.
Put together a bomb with the shit, but the or whatever, and maybe not a bomb. Maybe that was the wrong word.
That was the wrong
Okay,
word.
fine. I'm sorry. I'm going to internet hell now.
I'm not going to be taking a paper clip and a piece of chewing gum and making a bomb.
So, but they're super handy, and they can know a lot, or I should say, they could know a good amount of something about a shitload of things.
They make exceptional
Gemini.
storytellers and exceptional writers.
Yeah.
Because they can see every character's point of view.
And again, this is just talking about this person's rising sign. So if that was your chart, it wasn't about, hey, you didn't mention this and this about me. We're talking about your outward appearance. And again, I'm going to, encourage you, if you're hearing that this is you we're talking about, and if you have a question that pertains to this, you can punch it in down below. Go ahead and hit the comment bar and add whatever you want to. And we'll take a look and we'll pull it up on the side here, and we'll address it. We'll address it.
We'll answer whatever question you have.
Gemini, I think we did good with it. I think we're moving on.
We
to the
should,
next one.
since we mentioned all those water signs.
Yeah.
Let's just mention Gemini is an air sign.
Right. Thinking. Anytime you think air, think thinking. That's that element air, thought.
And the other two air signs are going to be Aquarius and
we're just going to keep moving, because then
Libra.
we're going to make it all confusing. I'm going to leave it alone unless unless we got a sign that pops up and shows all that. Here is the next chart, and it is Thursday, July 8th, 1999. Birth time 7:35 p.m. and this is in Oak Lawn, Illinois. And let me show this to you. This is a Capricorn rising. Okay. The sign Capricorn is right here. And from this line to this line, right, that little black line, that shows you its entire sign. And the rising sign, which is this black line, the horizon, goes through the sign of Capricorn. Okay. And that's how we know that this is a Capricorn rising. Now, fascinating about this is that we spent a lot of time already on a few different charts that was about Cancer. Capricorn is the polar opposite of Cancers. So this is cool because Cancers are all about the home.
Oh, good.
Which means
we have another one right after that.
Yeah, we're doing excellent our timing.
And we have another Capricorn right after this.
Wow, this is so wild. So the opposite of home is work, right? So this Capricorn person, well, they've got Capricorn on the ascendant. So they're going to appear to be all about work. They're going to appear to be all about climbing. I don't want to say the corporate ladder, but work's going to be important to them. They're probably going to excel on the job. They're probably going to be the person who can attack a job and who can see it through, and not just see it through, but really want to do really well at it. They're going to want to constantly be climbing in some way, shape, or form.
They're going to work really, really hard. If they really
make it look easy, actually.
Yes, they do. They make it look
easy.
easy. And if they enjoy their job, they're going to work that much harder, and they're not even really going to care. They're going to, if they love what they're doing, they don't care how much time it takes. They don't care how much work it is. They're just going to keep doing and doing and doing, because they're going to love it that much.
It's who they are. It's just who they are. Capricorns are also known to be really good with details. Now, this is Capricorn rising, so this may appear this way for this person. Again, haven't got into their sun or their moon or the other things in their chart, but typically these are things that add up to why they're good at working. Capricorn also represents, they're not going to take shortcuts. No. Capricorn, I don't want to get too detailed, but they're ruled by a planet that doesn't allow shortcuts, which is actually good, because what a Capricorn starts, a Capricorn will typically finish. You understand? It's not like, oh, I'm going to start this new project and then somehow the fire,
I'm going to put it down and I'm going to lose my drive to finish it.
They're going to see it through. They're going to see it through. They're going to do it well, and they're going to excel. Matter of fact, when I first started with astrology, I'll just pick this really small, quick little thing here because it's really cool. I don't know if anybody else finds it cool, but it blew my mind away. The first time I really took astrology super seriously was when I had a job where it was my job to do the hiring. And I had hired this crew, right? So it was like, it wasn't a big place. So there's like 12 people in the crew. And it was the best crew I ever worked with. They were phenomenal. And so one day I happened to be looking through their files for some reason. And I just happened to glance on a birth date, and the person was a Capricorn. And I thought, oh, holy shit, I know someone who's a Capricorn. This person's a Capricorn. I'm like, wow, well, that makes sense why they're really good workers. And I just thought, I'm going to look through the rest of the files. So I did. I wasn't even looking at their, birth months. My job was to make sure they were legal. All I had to do was make sure they had the birth year right? So I start looking it through. And wouldn't you know it, that crew was all Capricorns that I hired. I had no freaking clue. Well, when I saw that, I thought, holy shit, they're all Capricorns. And I had them for a nice amount of time. They weren't like excellent workers for 6 months. They all stayed. They all got hired as they were like juniors in high school, and they all stayed till they were like second or third year in college. Totally. They all went to college. They all ended up, like I said, they hung on and got what they could and learned from it, and they excelled at it. And they were reliable, dependable, honest. They were good people. Again, this is just one small part of a person's chart, and we're just focusing on Capricorn. But they don't take shortcuts. And the whole point of that is that if they start a job, they're going to be able to finish it because they didn't take a shortcut. They didn't cheat. They did what they had to do to get the job done.
They work through whatever it is that they have to work through to get
the
job done.
Yeah, and they're born with the ability to do it, So this is all in someone's chart. We all have this Capricorn part in our chart
It's a matter
somewhere.
of what part of your life
you have
shows up.
Right. And
it's going to show up in a different part of your life. So when we're talking about the rising sign, we're talking about how we appear to other people.
All right, next chart.
Capricorn rising.
Oh my gosh, we kind of got fortunate. Like we only have to talk about 3 or 4 signs. That's crazy.
I know.
But this is good, actually. It's really good. We didn't do this on purpose. This is how the charts came in. This is how you guys submitted the information to us. And this is just how it happens to be. There are a couple more charts that we haven't, but for so far, all we've had to do is talk about like 3 signs, right?
These few signs.
So let me show you this one. And I keep showing you the same thing because, well, repetition is how we learn. And again, here's, right, Capricorn, right? And what I will point out on this chart is that from the last chart, they had their Capricorn, right, was more down here, right? They had more Capricorn in their first house.
Right.
This person has a little bit of Capricorn in their first house, and the rest of their Capricorn is here in their 12th house, right? But they're still a Capricorn rising. The horizon line goes right through the Capricorn sign. Almost the middle sign of Capricorn. So we just talked about Capricorn. Capricorns are going to be all about your career, your professional life as well. So that represents, I don't want to get confusing, but it represents the 10th house in a person's chart.
Yeah.
Capricorn also is about structures, right? Like for me, I've been having some Capricorn issues in my chart. I don't want it to be confusing, but because it represents structures, it represents a point in my body. I know this is getting confusing because on the other signs, we didn't do this. Typically, every sign has a spot on your body that it represents. For Virgo is our overall health, but it does have more detailed areas like digestive system and stuff. Virgo specifically for that. For Capricorn, it's because it's structure. So
it's
Capricorn
your
is
skeletal system.
Right. It would be bones and your teeth, like things that are set up the structure in your mouth, your teeth, right? Your bones that go throughout your body, your spine, which I've been having issues with. Like this has been my time to be aware of, just physical things in my body, and it has to do with the spine. And it's like, okay, this is a Capricorn thing that's going on with me. So Capricorn also represents that. There's also, and I'm going to go into this a little bit more right now because of the fact that we are in the season of the eclipses for Cancers and Capricorns. Okay. Again, Cancer, this is for all signs. Like Cancer's at one end and Capricorn's at the other end. For Virgos, like Virgo's down here and Pisces is down here. They're along the same line of energy, but they're at opposite polarities. Okay. So Cancer and Capricorn, the eclipses are happening in their signs this year. And that means changes. So for people who have Capricorn on their ascendant, that means there's going to be changes because eclipses are happening. Now, like I said before, it doesn't have to be a negative change. It doesn't have to be a super positive change either. It can be
just means
anything in their life.
Change.
Yeah. It's Capricorn. So typically it would be, if you've got it on your rising,
it's going to be changes at work.
It could be changes at work. It could also be structural, physical changes in your body as well. Right. And for all the rest of us who have Capricorn, like I don't have Capricorn on my ascendant. I don't have it on my sun. I don't have it on my moon, but I am having it aspect and show up in different ways in my chart. It's really confusing if I were to show you my chart, and I don't want to do that. This is about talking. I just don't. My chart's really confusing, and I don't want to. Oh, I just lost some lighting, and maybe that's for the best. I probably ran out of battery.
Nope, it just shut off. Actually,
it's probably on a timer, so I should lose it.
Yeah.
How's that? Is that better? Can someone tell me? Yes, 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 yes. Well, either way. No. Anyway, so Capricorn is there's a bigger level, a global Capricorn issue that's going to be occurring, and I think we have to do honor to talk about it just a little bit right now.
Well, because we've got
Capricorn charts back to back.
Capricorn charts, but we've got currently in the world, we've got 2 major planets that are sitting in Capricorn right now that are addressing global, corporate, and governmental structures.
Basically structures of any kind.
Any kind. So, but predominantly those kinds of things.
Business.
So
big business. Bankings.
all the things that are going on with the government and the questioning that's been going on in Congress with the banking system and all of the fighting that's been going on with the government, with corporate structure and how corporations basically run roughshod over the Congress and how people are angry about that. All of that, the whole reason why that's come into play right now,
I'll give you a visual
is
real quick.
Because of the fact that we've got 2 major planets sitting in Capricorn right now.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a visual what that looks like, what we're talking about. So basic astrology, I'm not going to go into the details of it other than what she's in the reference of corporate, worldwide and global. See, we've got Pluto and Saturn. They're in Capricorn right now, and they're transiting, which means they're not going to stay there. But Pluto and Saturn are big boys in astrology, okay? When they come around, things happen. And when they come around holding hands,
which
there's no doubt stuff's going to occur. And it's good stuff. At first, it's like it shakes things up. It's literally going to change the foundation of things. Mm-hmm. Like it's just going to. The way these things occur together is they're going to go ahead and they're going to take the system that currently exists and it's going to kind of sort of, I don't want to say dismantle, but it's going to be reevaluated.
It's going to be a reevaluated.
It's going to be
It's going to question the structure that exists. And that's what's happening. I was watching some video of some questioning that was going on in the Congress between a congresswoman and the head of Citibank, and how she was talking about how can a woman who is a single mother live on a starting paycheck at Citibank. And this is a man who's pulling in more than $31 million a year.
Oh my God. Sick.
And
he can relate.
And
totally.
A starting paycheck at Citibank is $16.50 an hour.
Right.
And she was basically saying, how can she make it when in a month she's more than $500 in the hole every single month,
right,
working at your job?
Yeah.
Your starting job.
Yeah.
And so these kinds of, and he just sat there and went, I don't know. I don't know.
But this is a good point.
Instead of saying, maybe we need to reevaluate how we pay our employees.
This is exactly it. This is reevaluating. This is looking at those structures that are presently there and saying, this shit doesn't work.
Right.
We have to do something else.
Right.
It's not working. So Pluto in Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn, it's a change. It's a structural change in the system that already exists. And we're seeing it in other big agencies, in other long-standing traditional things. The church. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of stuff's been coming out, and that's for a reason. Pluto and Capricorn, Saturn there, it shakes things up, and it's supposed to shake it up so that we can kind of clear away the rubble and see, oh shit, this is what's going on. Well, we either want it to stay this way or we want to change it. And Pluto is all about rebirth. It's all about, you know, ascending and coming up alive out of the ashes. Pluto is all about that. It's deep transformation. And it doesn't mean it's, you know, got to be horrible or gut-wrenching and painful, but it is change. In our human nature, no one likes change. Not really. Not a lot of people just, they don't care for it. And that's okay. You know, the thing is, it's all right to not like change, but just know that you can get through it. We can get through it. You know, we can persevere and know that at the end of that, you're going to come out stronger than you were, right? What do they say? Doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. I know, right? Easy to say. Okay, so we promised that we would get all through these within an hour. We did. We got through them. It's an hour and like 1 minute. I'm not sure if people don't have questions. I see we have people who are logged on, who are watching. There's not a lot of comments. Maybe there's just a whole crap load of information here. And they're like, holy shit. I don't even know what questions to ask because there's like that one question, which is fine. You can comment afterwards or you can comment right now. Do whatever you want to do. But we are at 101.
Send us questions later.
Yeah, you can always comment on, you can rewatch the video because it'll be in our video library and comment on it. But we do want to keep this going. We might change the format. We're gonna evolve with you guys. And we want you to know that. That's one of the things I want to mention before we sign off here.
You need to let us know.
Yeah, we want to do we want to talk about what you guys want to talk about. Obviously, we're going to tie it right down to astrology. This is about presenting astrology in a really practical way so that we can all understand it together. Because if I understand what you understand, right? If I know what you know what I know, we can see eye to eye at least. You know, we can at least talk to each other in an objective way.
Right.
And you know, not take things so damn personally all the time. And through all that understanding, we actually elevate our own awareness. That's what this is about.
Our hope is that it will help you to see that these things that happen to you in your life happen because of the energy that's there and that you're going to get through it. And it's temporary.
Yeah, that's what I love about astrology.
It's temporary.
I love the fact that
it's going to change.
It's a guaranteed it's going to change because yes, you're born with a certain makeup, right? With a certain set of things in place. That's part is true. But we also have these other things that transition and move that are constantly moving, and they do change the makeup of it. Okay, it all changes. So with that, we hope that you enjoyed the show. Again, my name is Greer, and
I'm Amy.
Amy, this is all astrology, where we connect in the practical things of life and talk about astrology in a super mundane way so that you understand it. And if you don't, that's our problem in a sense. You let us know what you don't understand and we will break it down for however we need to break it down so that we can communicate as a whole and get on. So we're going to do another show. Let us know what you want us to do. If you found value in what we did today and the time that we spent with you, the looking at the charts, if you have other questions, put them down there on that comment bar. Go ahead, hit the bell for the like. And if you want to subscribe to us, please do. We appreciate it. In the meantime, that's all we got for now. Until next time, we'll let you know when that is. Thank you.
Have a great week.
All right, we had fun.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.